This video did not exist in your reality until you directed your focus toward it. You collapsed this exact moment into existence out of an infinite sea of probabilities. Today we are going to talk about a phenomenon that society calls a glitch in memory, but quantum physics understands as something entirely different. We are talking about the Mandela Effect, the quantum field, and the profound observer effect. By the end of this transmission, you will no longer view yourself as a passive participant in a random world. You will finally understand your true, terrifyingly beautiful power as the supreme creator of your reality. Tell me, have you ever vividly remembered a detail from the past, only to find that the rest of the world and recorded history insists it happened differently? To grasp the magnitude of what is happening, you must first understand the metaphysical reality of the quantum field. In esoteric truth, the universe is not made of solid matter. It is a boundless ocean of infinite probabilities and dormant timelines. Every choice, every historical event, and every potential future exists simultaneously as a wave of invisible energy. It is only through the act of observation that these waves collapse into the solid experience we call physical life. But observation is not just watching things happen with your physical eyes. Observation is the active, powerful process of your consciousness anchoring a specific frequency into physical form. You are not a camera recording the world. You are the projector casting the world into existence. Think about the Mandela Effect. The world tells you it is just a false memory. They say your brain is playing tricks on you, filling in the gaps with faulty information. But what if I told you that the scientific and psychological communities are completely missing the bigger picture? The truth is far more profound and, frankly, far more liberating. You see, the Mandela Effect is not a glitch in your brain. It is a glitch in the matrix of collective reality. It is absolute, undeniable proof that your individual consciousness remembers a timeline that the collective has already left behind. When you remember a logo, a movie line, or a historical event differently than the current recorded history, you are not misremembering. You are accessing a residual data stream from a previous version of reality. You have literally shifted parallel dimensions. Your consciousness is so vast, so incredibly ancient and powerful that it spans across multiple waves of probability. While the masses blindly accept the new, collapsed reality, your higher self holds on to the original code. You are an anomaly in the quantum field, and this anomaly is the exact key to understanding your true potential. To truly understand what is happening to you, we must first look at the very nature of the quantum field. In the realm of quantum physics, nothing is fixed until it is observed. Before the moment of observation, everything exists as a wave of pure probability. This means that every single choice you could ever make and every possible outcome of every event in history exists right now in a latent state. This ocean of infinite potential is what mystics call the Akashic records and what scientists call the unified field. You are standing in the center of an infinite web of parallel realities. These are not imaginary worlds, they are mathematically real dimensions existing right alongside this one, vibrating at slightly different frequencies. When you experience the Mandela Effect, you are literally experiencing the friction between two of these vibrating realities. You are feeling the quantum breeze of a world you once inhabited. The collective consciousness is a massive gravitational force, and it constantly pulls the majority of humanity down a specific, agreed-upon path. But you are not bound by that gravity anymore. You are waking up. Let us dive deeper into the actual mechanics of a quantum jump. How does a person actually move from one reality to another? It happens through a shift in your fundamental state of being. Your consciousness is not generated by the brain. Your brain is merely a receiver, a biological antenna tuning into the quantum field. When your internal frequency changes through deep realization, trauma, spiritual awakening, or intense emotional shifts, the dial on your antenna turns. You suddenly stop receiving the broadcast of the first timeline and you begin receiving the broadcast of the second timeline. The shift is completely seamless. The sky is still blue, the grass is still green, and the people around you look the same. But the underlying code of the universe has been rewritten. Small details in the past have been fundamentally altered to match the energetic trajectory of your new present moment. The people around you in this new timeline have always been here, and their memories match this specific reality. That is why they look at you as if you are crazy when you point out the changes. They cannot remember the old timeline because they did not make the jump with you. You might be asking yourself why the collective consciousness leaves a timeline in the first place. The collective reality is formed by the dominant vibration of the masses collapsing the wave function into a single, shared experience. It is a consensus reality. However, when the collective experiences massive shifts in belief, widespread fear, or global awakening, the dominant frequency alters dramatically. This massive energetic swing forces the entire human collective to jump onto a new, more resonant timeline. Those who are deeply asleep, those who operate purely on autopilot, shift along with the herd. Their consciousness is overwritten by the new matrix code. They do not retain any memory of the previous world because their awareness is completely submerged in the collective mind. They are the background characters in the grand quantum play. But there are individuals like you who possess an individualized, activated consciousness. When the collective jumps, you jump too, but your awareness is powerful enough to maintain its own independent data stream. You cross the dimensional boundary with your memories fully intact, becoming a living bridge between worlds. But what if I told you that sometimes it is not the collective that shifts, but you who outgrows the collective matrix? When you begin doing deep inner work, meditating, healing your trauma, and elevating your vibration, you become a vibrational mismatch for the dense reality of the masses. Your personal frequency accelerates beyond the threshold of the consensus timeline. In order to accommodate your new, higher state of consciousness, the universe must physically relocate you to a parallel reality that supports your expanded light. You literally walk out of the old world and into a new one. The Mandela Effect is simply the trailing edge of this magnificent transition. It is the cosmic receipt proving that your inner alchemy has successfully altered your external physical environment. The changes you notice in brand names, geography, or historical events are the harmless side effects of this massive quantum relocation. Do not let these changes frighten you. Instead, let them serve as undeniable validation. They are the mile markers on your journey of spiritual evolution, showing you exactly how far you have traveled across the vast multiverse of probability. Let us talk about quantum residue and why your mind holds on to the old data. In physics, the law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed. The same principle applies to conscious memory. The experiences you had in the previous timeline were real. The energetic signature of those experiences was permanently recorded in your soul's multi-dimensional memory bank. When you shifted into this current reality, your physical brain had to adapt to the new timeline's history, but your higher consciousness refused to delete the original files. This creates a fascinating neurological phenomenon where your brain holds two conflicting sets of memories simultaneously. The cognitive dissonance you feel when you discover a Mandela effect is your physical avatar trying to reconcile the truth of your eternal soul with the newly downloaded physical history. Society calls this a false memory syndrome. But you and I know the truth. It is a highly advanced form of quantum retention. You are holding the fragmented puzzle pieces of a dissolved universe in the palm of your mind. You are the archivist of forgotten realities. Now we must look at the observer effect on a macro scale. In the famous double-slit experiment, particles behave differently simply because they are being watched. The act of observation collapses the infinite possibilities into one solid fact. But this principle does not just apply to subatomic particles in a laboratory, it applies to the very fabric of your daily life. You are the observer, and your reality is the particle. For decades, you observed your reality based on a specific set of rules and a specific history. Your gaze locked that timeline into place. But as your consciousness expanded, the quality of your observation changed. You stopped looking at the world through the lens of conditioning and started looking through the lens of pure awareness. This shift in observation literally disrupted the wave function of your entire life. The matrix had to rearrange itself to reflect the new, empowered observer that you have become. The changes in history that you perceive as the Mandela Effect are simply the universe reorganizing its past to make logical sense of your new present state. Your observation reached backward in time and altered the foundation. Emotions are the navigational compass in this vast quantum ocean. Most people believe that their emotions are simply reactions to things happening outside of them, but in the realm of quantum metaphysics, emotions are actually the magnetic pull that dictates which timeline you will collapse into physical form. Your thoughts are the electrical charge sending out a signal, but your emotions are the magnetic field drawing the matching reality back to you. When you lived in a state of continuous fear or lack, you were anchored to a timeline that reflected those exact frequencies. But as you began to cultivate gratitude, peace, and unconditional love, your magnetic signature changed completely. You quite literally magnetized yourself out of the old world. The reality you are in right now is a direct response to your most dominant emotional states. When you notice a reality shift or a discrepancy in your memory, pay close attention to how you were feeling in the days or weeks prior. You will often find that you experienced a profound emotional release or a breakthrough right before the shift occurred. Your heart is the quantum engine driving you through the multiverse. Have you ever experienced a powerful wave of déjà vu? It is a feeling so profound that it stops you right in your tracks. Science tries to explain this away as a momentary delay in the brain processing information. But from a metaphysical standpoint, déjà vu is intimately connected to the Mandela Effect and timeline shifting. Déjà vu occurs when two parallel realities temporarily intersect in the quantum field. For a fraction of a second, the timeline you are currently walking on crosses paths with a timeline you could have chosen or one you recently left. Your higher self is viewing both realities simultaneously, and that momentary double vision creates the strange sensation of having been there before. It is a synchronization point in the multidimensional grid. When you experience déjà vu, you are receiving a subtle wink from the universe. It is the quantum field acknowledging your presence as an active traveler. It means you are exactly where you are supposed to be, standing right at the crossroads of infinite potential. Embrace these moments, for they are the sensory evidence of your multidimensional nature operating in real time. This brings us to a radical redefinition of manifestation. Most people approach manifestation from a place of trying to force the physical world to change. They try to create something out of nothing, but the quantum secret is that you do not have to create anything. Every amount of money, every perfect relationship, every state of perfect health already exists right now on a parallel timeline. Manifestation is not about creation, it is about timeline selection. It is the art of quantum hopping. When you deeply visualize a goal, and more importantly, when you assume the emotional state of already having it, you are tuning your biological antenna to that specific reality. You are aligning your vibration with the frequency of that parallel world. If you hold that frequency long enough without doubt, the universe has no choice but to shift you into that dimension. The Mandela Effect proves that the past and the present are completely fluid. If the past can change to accommodate a new collective vibration, then your future can absolutely change to accommodate your new personal vibration. You are simply stepping onto the escalator that is already moving toward your desire. Sometimes your memories will clash violently with the physical world around you. You will look at a book, a brand, or a map, and every cell in your body will scream that it is wrong. This is not a moment for fear or confusion. This is the ultimate proof of your creator power. When your internal knowing conflicts with external evidence, it means you have completely detached your consciousness from the illusions of the matrix. You are no longer reliant on the physical world to tell you what is true. You have realized that the external world is just a delayed reflection of previous thoughts and vibrations. The physical reality is the slowest moving substance in the universe. It is dense and sluggish. Your consciousness, however, moves at the speed of light. You have already shifted into a higher dimension, but the dense physical world is still catching up, presenting you with strange anomalies and distorted histories along the way. When you see these glitches, smile. They are the cracks in the walls of your old prison cell. They prove that the solid world is not solid at all. It is highly malleable plastic, waiting for your commands. To navigate this fluid reality, you must understand the immense power of your focused thought. In the quantum vehicle of your physical body, your focused intention is the steering wheel. Whatever you give your absolute attention to, you begin to merge with. The collective media, the news, and the fear-based structures of society are all designed to hijack your steering wheel. They want you to focus on disaster, lack, and division, because doing so forces your consciousness to anchor into a lower, heavier timeline. They are farming your quantum energy to maintain their preferred version of reality. But the moment you take back your focus, you take back your destiny. You must become radically disciplined with where you place your attention. Stop observing the things you do not wish to experience. Turn your gaze away from the chaos and fix it entirely upon your highest vision. By doing this consistently, you starve the old timeline of the energetic fuel it needs to exist in your experience. You collapse the wave function of the unwanted reality, leaving only the timeline of your greatest fulfillment standing in its place. As you take conscious control of your timeline, you will begin to notice an incredible increase in synchronicity. These are not random coincidences. Synchronicity is the feedback loop of the quantum field. It is the language the universe uses to communicate with an awakened observer. When you see repeating numbers, hear a specific phrase multiple times a day, or run into someone you were just thinking about, you are receiving direct confirmation from the field. Synchronicity is the universe telling you that your wave of probability is successfully collapsing in the right direction. It means the boundary between your internal thoughts and your external reality is becoming dangerously thin. The more you acknowledge these signs, the more frequent they become. You enter a state of flow where life feels like a beautifully orchestrated dream. The Mandela Effect is simply a massive collective synchronicity. It is a signpost so large that even the sleeping masses have to stop and wonder. But for you, the active observer, these signs are personal text messages from the cosmos, guiding you step by step into your highest dimensional expression. We must completely redefine the law of attraction. The old paradigm taught you that you are a magnet sitting in one place, pulling things toward you across an empty void. But the quantum truth is far more dynamic. You are not pulling a new car, a new job, or a new partner toward you. You are literally moving your entire state of consciousness to the timeline where you are already driving that car, working that job, and embracing that partner. The law of attraction is actually the law of quantum resonance. You can only perceive the reality that matches your current internal frequency. If you are vibrating at the frequency of struggle, you will be blind to the timeline of abundance, even if it is standing right in front of you. To shift realities, you must walk, talk, and breathe as the version of you who already exists in the desired timeline. This is not faking it until you make it. This is quantum alignment. You are matching the coordinate points in the multiverse. Once the resonance is locked in, the shift happens in the blink of an eye, and the physical world reorganizes itself to match your new broadcast. To truly master this process, you must break free from the collective consensus reality. The hardest part of experiencing timeline shifts and the Mandela Effect is the feeling of isolation. When you try to explain what you remember to your friends or family, they will often look at you with blank stares. They will try to convince you that you are mistaken simply because they are reading the data from the current timeline. You must understand that it is not their fault. They are plugged into a different server. You cannot force them to see a reality they are not vibrating in resonance with. The most powerful thing you can do is to stop seeking validation from the external world. You must trust your internal quantum compass above all else. When you no longer need the collective to agree with your experience, you free yourself from the gravitational pull of their timeline. You become completely sovereign. This independence is the hallmark of a true reality creator. You are willing to stand in your own truth, even if the entire world claims history happened differently. Shifting timelines is not just a mental exercise, it has very real physical symptoms. As your consciousness forces your physical avatar into a new frequency band, your body goes through an intense recalibration process. You might experience periods of feeling completely ungrounded, as if gravity has slightly changed. You may have days of profound exhaustion where your body requires massive amounts of sleep to integrate the new quantum codes. Your dreams will become incredibly vivid, often feeling more real than your waking life, as you process the discarded timelines while you sleep. You might also notice sudden, inexplicable changes in your life. Relationships may suddenly end without warning. Careers may dissolve. These events are often perceived as tragedies by the ego, but they are actually quantum course corrections. The universe is violently removing the people and situations that belong to the old timeline, making room for the energetic matches of your new reality. Honor your body during these transitions. Drink plenty of water, rest, and trust the massive unseen mechanics operating behind the scenes. It is time to reclaim your absolute sovereignty as a quantum observer. For too long, humanity has played the role of the victim, believing that reality is something that happens to them. The government, the economy, the circumstances of birth, these were seen as unbreakable chains, but the awareness of timeline shifting shatters that illusion forever. You are not a victim of a changing world. You are the architect navigating the multiverse. You have the power to observe disease into health, poverty into wealth, and chaos into deep peace. But with this immense power comes a profound responsibility. You can no longer afford the luxury of negative thinking. You cannot indulge in chronic complaining or victimhood, because you now know that doing so actively summons a nightmare timeline into your experience. You must stand guard at the door of your mind. You must become the ruthless editor of your own thoughts, cutting out the scenes that do not serve your ultimate expansion. This is the path of the true initiate, the one who takes the steering wheel and refuses to let the autopilot drive. How do you practically anchor yourself into your desired timeline? It requires a daily practice of intentional observation and deep emotional coherence. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone or remember your problems, you have a brief window where you are pure, unformed quantum potential. In those first 5 minutes, your brain waves are in a highly programmable theta state. This is the moment to choose your timeline for the day. Close your eyes and intensely visualize the reality you wish to inhabit. Feel the gratitude, the excitement, and the peace of that timeline flooding your body. Hold that emotional coherence until it feels absolutely real. By doing this, you are collapsing the wave function for your day before you even step out of bed. Throughout the day, when the old reality tries to trigger you, pause. Do not react. Take a deep breath and consciously re-anchor into your chosen frequency. Every time you choose peace over panic, you solidify your place in the new dimension. You are laying down the energetic bricks of your new quantum home. There is one final crucial element to successful timeline jumping, the practice of radical detachment. You cannot grab onto a new reality if your hands are tightly gripping the old one. This means you must completely let go of how you think your manifestation will arrive. When you micromanage the universe, you collapse the wave function into a very narrow, limited possibility. You shut down the infinite paths the quantum field could use to deliver your desire. You must state your intention, feel the reality of it, and then completely surrender the outcome. Detachment does not mean you do not care. It means you are so absolutely certain that you are already on the correct timeline that you do not need to anxiously check for results. You do not dig up a seed every day to see if it is growing. You trust the unseen process. Let the old timeline fall away. Let the memories of lack and pain fade into the background noise of the multiverse. Forgive the past, release your attachments, and step naked into the glorious unknown. The void is not empty. It is pregnant with your greatest destiny. This is the ultimate truth of your existence, the grand revelation that the Mandela Effect has been pointing you toward all along. You are not a tiny, insignificant speck of dust floating through a cold, random universe. You are the universe itself, experiencing itself from a specific, localized point of view. You are a vast, multidimensional consciousness that has deliberately chosen to incarnate into this physical matrix to master the art of reality creation. The anomalies you see, the shifting memories, the synchronicities, they are the universe bowing to your awakening command. You have officially left the nursery of consensus reality. You have outgrown the limitations of the collective dream. The training wheels are off. From this moment forward, you must walk through this world with the quiet confidence of a master. Every glance, every word, every feeling you emit is writing the code of tomorrow. Do not fear the shifting timelines. Ride them, command them. You are the observer, the architect, and the supreme creator of your multidimensional experience. You are not living inside a rigid, unchangeable reality. You are reality, actively observing and rearranging itself in real time. The memories you hold that contradict the world around you are the ultimate proof of your power as a quantum creator. You have successfully shifted before, and you can absolutely do it again, this time with total conscious control. Thank you for tuning in to this frequency today. If this message resonated deeply with your soul, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. To permanently anchor your vibration into this new, empowered timeline, write in the comments below. I am the observer, creating my reality. Now I want to hear from you. What specific signs, glitches, or synchronicities have you noticed in your own life recently?